Cantors on behalf of, excuse me, the neighbor, Julian and Gretchen Brigden. I could just ask you to indulge me. I just want to jot down the members who will be participating in tonight's vote, with all of them having certified to either being present for the hearings or having listened to the tape or read a transcript of all of the hearings on this matter.
Sure, if you'd like me to give you the names.
Would you want to please? Yeah, just.
Mr. Tony Suarez, or Commissioner Suarez, Commissioner Novak, Commissioner Underwood, Commissioner Perry, myself, Commissioner Carrara, Commissioner Conlon.
So you always able to get.
Okay, thank you. This is an application for a lockout. Is that better? Or do you want to speak about it? But at its core, you're called upon to weigh the facts and documentary evidence and the testimony you've been presented with against the statutory criteria for granting several variances that are sought here. And they are D variances that have standards of positive criteria and negative criteria, and they are C variances, namely bulk variances, that have positive criteria and negative criteria. The primary tenant principle in any land use case is that the applicant bears the burden of proof on every single issue. So there was never any testimony or objector or neighbor or no one else, and the applicant alone showed up, said whatever he or she said, even if no one came to oppose it, and you determined based upon your consideration of the evidence that it didn't meet the criteria, turn it down. Because the applicant bears the burden of proof on every single element. That's plain. Now in this case, the applicant had that burden. And we think when you walk your way through, and I'll take a few minutes to walk our way through the evidence, the applicant failed that burden of proof. We're not even clear, and the applicant has never proven to you that there are 5 legally approved units in this property. There is no evidence in the record to sustain that. There are statements in the record about leases, but no one has ever come forward and shown you certificates of occupancy about this property. In fact, in September, Mr. Crimmins was not here. There was a lot of testimony and questions to Mr. Crimmins, and I'll just take one moment to refer back to this. I think it's very significant. Mr. Crimmins said, and I quote, and I'm at page 243 of that. It was paginated for me this September 6th hearing. We're not concluding the hearing tonight, and I am requesting that Mr. Picardo be here to testify himself. He has, plenty of notice, and I'm requesting as a board member that Mr. Picardo be here to answer questions about the building himself. I asked this board to subpoena Mr. Picardo, and this board directed its counsel, Mr. Byrne, to write back to me declining to subpoena him, a power within your authority under the land use law. We've never seen Mr. Picardo. Numerous issues have been raised about him. That entitles me to ask you, under the law that I handed out the last time, a case of State versus Clawlins, and a case of Mall versus Kirkman, to draw a negative inference. Namely, that if he were here and he were asked direct questions to answer them, answers he would give would be unhelpful and unfavorable to him. It is a basic, obvious principle. Quotations I highlighted in Mall versus Kirkman point out why it is that when a witness, and certainly in this case the application, and I'm aware that many times applicants don't come in as part of their applications, but so many issues in this case revolve around history, questions about the application, because I asked who wrote the application, and neither witness could testify he wrote the application, had knowledge about the information contained in the application itself. Mr. Picardo signed and swore to the application, and yet he never was here, despite many, many months and many opportunities to be here. The applicant himself never chose to come here. You are and should. Number two, they have to show benefits. What are the benefits of granting a variance for this use here? Again, two-family zone. Only a couple of years ago was it rezoned to be a two-family and no more zone because of the historic issues. What are the benefits when they show that you should run roughshod or grant variances from the legislature's determination and recent determination that this should be limited to 2 years? I asked. And finally I heard, well, I think the planner testified, well, you know, we're going to get a diversity of units by expanding the units. And he said that in September and reiterated again, but I asked him directly when I first started cross-examining him in September, and he said, we're going to get a diversity of units. An interesting theory. I quoted page 201, 18. In some ways, it really can be looked at as being beneficial because it creates a greater diversity of units within the structure. Well, I then asked him exactly physically what's going on in the structure. And what he answered was, and the plans bore this out, the physical expansion and improvement is only for one apartment. And not surprisingly, whose apartment is that? The owner applicant's apartment. And I quote to you from March 17th last month on page 56. By the way, the practical effect of the proposed addition is to enlarge apartment 4, correct? Answer, this is Mr. Cohen. I believe that's the case, yes. That apartment would then get an additional bedroom or 2 and a bathroom, I believe. Question, practical effect, the structural effect we've seen you observed in writing your report doesn't affect the other 4 units. I'm sorry. I then asked him further. Question, the practical effect, the structural effect we've seen that you observed in writing your report doesn't affect the other 4 units in the property, correct? Answer, I don't believe it does. So what's the benefit that they have to show you, the public benefit that they have to show you of what's going on here? A private